हरे कृष्णा माताजी। आरती दिस साइड। मैं आप लोगों के देश में हूँ आजकल।
Hi Krishna. You're in India?
Yes.
Oh, lovely. I was asking, I was talking to my husband yesterday and I was like, Mataji is not coming from so many days. I hope she's keeping okay.
No, I'm okay, but I'm in India and there's so much of work that I have to complete here. So I'm not getting time to attend and I'm feeling very bad because there's some work that I need to complete. But today we had Bhagavad Katha at home. So there were many devotees from east of Kailash and from Punjabi Bagh.
Jai, that's so great.
So there are 3 days
this
of
was
Bhagavad
the topic
Katha.
of discussion for yesterday. This was a topic for yesterday.
Oh, is it? How's it going? Nectar of Instruction? I haven't attended any class because of my schedule. It's really
as great as any other module, Mataji.
Really? How was your
Yes,
CBA?
absolutely.
Was it good?
Bimla Prasad Prabhu can tell. I think he's here, no?
I haven't
checked
or not. I haven't marked your papers yet. Don't worry.
Any OBAs, Prabhuji, any CBAs, anything?
Prabhuji, you have to really give me this leeway this time. I am absolutely so busy. And I told
you have some latitude.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I am flying on next Sunday, so I can't take my CBA.
Yeah. You have some latitude. It's okay.
Thank you. Prabhuji, how are you? We missed you, Prabhuji. There were so many devotees from Punjabi Bagh and east of Kailash. It was very nice. We missed you.
I know. Vishnu Sarup was there. So,
yeah, Premanjan Prabhuji came.
He was there? Good.
Yeah, he came. Too? Yes.
Good to know that.
Next time, Prabhuji, Kirtan is on you.
Yeah, there's always a next time.
You're right.
So we have got Ananda Lila Bhaji amongst us. So I think it's time we can get going with the session, lesson today. I see Ananda Lila Bhaji. Krishna Mataji. Yeah, my camera is somehow not working. There's some, I don't know. Maybe I have to restart my computer. Let's see. Yeah, Ananda Lila Bhaji, the floor is yours. Your microphone is turned switched off.
नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निधि नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Welcome all of you in today's session. So today we will be looking at the text 5 and 6. Maybe let's see how we move on. If not, then we will cover it tomorrow. And until today, until yesterday, we had covered until text 1 to 4. So let's start. Let's see. Okay. So let's do a quick review of what we did last night. If someone of you would like to share.
Mataji, we did the
verse Dadati Pati Ganati Guhyamakhati Prachati Bhumte Vochte Cheva Shad Vidham Priti Lakshanam. And the best, everything is very much clear, but the new I got yesterday, the good point was like Guhyam Akyati Prachati means an experienced devotee explains and an inexperienced devotee learns from him. And this is all about spiritual things, not about the material or mundane things, or the generally we talk about. It's not, if not prajalpa, it's not jalpa also. So it's not talking. So it's about all about spiritual things. So this point I learned yesterday. I learned so many points, but this was one of them which I liked really most.
Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else?
We basically learned, Mataji, that how all of these things, all these six, you know, steps help us in growing in our devotional service and spiritual life as well. This is the ultimate motive of following these steps.
Thank you. So yeah, we reflected upon our experiences of these 6 symptoms of love among us devotees and discussed some overcoming challenges when we are applying them, and the relevance of Nidya Siddha Krishna Prema. How Krishna consciousness is already inbuilt there, and when we come in contact with devotees, take the association of devotees, that is, our dormant Krishna consciousness is revived, and qualifications required to utilize the contributions, and spending at least 50% of one's income on the service of the Lord. That's like in the end, Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. That's the Srila Rupa Goswami has said the highest example of the Dadati principle by giving 50% of one's income to the service of the Lord, and rest 25% for the relatives, and the last 25% for one's own personal emergencies. All right, so today we are going to cover lesson 4, where we have text 5 and 6. This explains and talks about the attitude towards devotees. Because if you remember the first preface, there was a question, what is this attitude? And this is what we have been looking for the past 3-4 days. What are the positive attitudes, negative attitudes in our cultivation of bhakti in this path? So, text 5. If someone would like to read.
कृष्णेति यस्य गिरितं मनसा ध्रियेता दीक्षास्ति चेत् प्रणतिभिश्च भजन्तमीशं शुश्रूषया भजन विज्ञमनन्यमन्या निन्दाति शून्य हृदं विपसितसङ्गलब्ध्या.
Okay. You can read from the book word to word and then the translation.
Okay, Mataji. Krishna, the holy name of Lord Krishna. Iti, thus. Yasya, of whom. Giri, in the words or speech. Tam, him. Manasa, by the mind. Adhriyata, one must honor. Diksha, initiation. Asti, there is. Cheta, if. Pranatibhish, by obeisances. Cha, also. Bhajantam, engaged in devotional service. Isham, unto the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Shushushreya, by practical service, Bhajana Vigyam, one who is advanced in devotional service, Ananyam, without deviation, Anya Ninda Adi, of blasphemy of others, etc., Shunya, completely devoid, Hridam, whose heart, Ipsita, desirable, Sangha, association, Labdhya, by gaining. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivan Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One should mentally honor a devotee who chants the holy name of Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation Diksha and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity of criticizing others.
So this text 5 is actually speaking about the three categories of devotees and how one should what should be our attitude and how we should be dealing with them, how we should honor or respect these three different categories of devotees. So, as the translation says one should mentally honor the devotee who chants the holy name of the Lord Krishna. One should offer humble obeisance to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service, whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. So the first one, where this is the first part, is speaking about Kanishta Adhikari, a neophyte devotee. We should mentally honor that devotee who is chanting the holy name of Krishna. And the second, one who has undergone this process of Diksha, initiation ceremony, a commitment vow, and is engaged in the service of the deity. That's the second category. And the third one is we should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee who is advanced in undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others, who is just concentrating on Krishna, who is completely Krishna conscious, um, and he is living for Krishna, and all his activities are for Krishna. So he's totally, fully Krishna conscious, and he can see Krishna in everyone. So that's the third. So, okay, what is this? If someone can read this.
In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper person with careful discrimination. Srila Rupa Goswami therefore advises that we should meet with the Vaishnavas in an appropriate way according to their particular status. In this verse, he tells us how to deal with three types of devotees: the Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari, and Uttama Adhikari. It's from Shri Upadeshamrit, text 5 purport.
It's on page 4048. It's there where Prabhupada is actually just starts with the purpose, starts with this explaining that what is this verse about. So what I would like to do you all is, you are 13 participants, so probably excluding I and Bimla Prasad Prabhu. So that leaves like 11 participants. Is Sampada here today or Tarun? I don't know who's going to do the room breakouts. Who is available today or no one? Is any of these devotees there? Or Yagyadanish Prabhu can do? Please let me know so I can move ahead. Who is available? It's just you, Priya, Satya, Mama, and nobody else here. They just logged in and everyone is.
No, we
Mataji,
are all
I
here.
actually
Mataji, I'm also
disconnected.
here.
How can we help you? I actually lost my network.
Don't know how to do this breakout, so somebody was
Mataji,
doing.
actually, you're not the host today, so it has to be Yagadanesh Prabhu only. He can help you out. If you had been the host, you could have done it yourself.
I
I-
see.
Yeah. Otherwise, Yagyadanesh Prabhu, if he can make me host as he did yesterday, so I
I
can.
don't
Even
think
I
Prabhuji
can
is
do
here
that.
because I think
I am around, I can do that. It's like
If anybody can
you don't
call
have to
him,
be
if
Yagadanesh.
Bimla Prasad Prabhu, you're not the host of the meeting.
No, I'm not.
Would you be able? Yeah, so we
I'm just an onlooker.
I
Like
you,
you.
I
only
tried
the host can do this.
I tried calling him. He's not picking up. So I'll call him.
Yeah, I sent
Let
him
me
a.
try.
But
Let
that's.
me try. Let me try my luck.
How do I make anyone host?
Mataji, that can
Mataji,
also be done only by the host.
Yeah, only Yagyadanesh Prabhu
Only the
can
yoga
Only
assign
the
host
that.
can
host,
do it.
yes, only the host can do all of these things. I think
Yeah,
Tarun
okay,
Prabhu is
now,
also the host
yeah,
now.
he's
yes,
there.
yes, yes. So I'll create. So Mataji, how many breakout rooms, like of pairs, I have
Let
to
me
create?
explain the exercise because we just got into. You read through this purport. I want 3 breakout rooms, like 3 groups. You jot down the points for Kanishta Adhikari, and room 2 will do for Madhyam, and room 3 will do for Uttama Adhikari. This verse talks about all these 3. So your findings and examples and references for these 3 categories of devotees, you can jot on the points, and you have got, say, like 20 minutes. You can set up the time. Actually, 25 minutes. That's good enough for them to. Kanishta and Madhyam, there are quite a lot of points to be written and jotting down. So yeah, you can break them in 3 groups. Whoever is doing that.
Okay, okay, Mataji, I'll create. Yeah.
Thanks. Tarun Prabhu,
Yes, Mataji.
don't put me and Bimla Prasad Prabhu in any room.
Yeah, okay. Actually, it automatically
No,
sends
I have
notification to
declined the
everyone.
offer.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
then in any case, I'm not part of any group.
Yeah. So then you'll have to put 2 more devotees with Ras Raman Krishna.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, they would
Yes,
have got the
exactly.
note. Okay, okay. I'll.
think it takes 5 minutes to set up the rooms.
Yeah, actually, everyone has not joined the room, so it takes like. So I'm just shuffling them so that in every group someone is there.
Hmm. So that means only 6 people are here.
Like some of them have not joined.
Probably they switch it on and then they leave.
Yes.
Did you set up the minutes also?
No, Mataji, like I have not set up the minutes, but I have seen like the time. So around 7:45,
You should
25
do it.
minutes. Yeah.
This room, only this one Mataji is there, Rukmini Hari Sevini. Yeah, I think today not many other. Yes, one, two.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Mataji, can Tarun Prabhu put me in some another group? Because I am the only one.
Maybe you and Tarun Prabhu can do the exercise.
Okay, here only?
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay. Tarun Prabhu, second point we have to discuss. I was in room number
Madhyam Adhikari.
Yes.
Mathematical. Okay, okay.
I am just reading that Madhyam Adhikari portion only right now. So Mataji, did you find any points for this?
Sabji, first of all, this is the definition of Madhyamadhikari. Ishvara Tata Dineshu Varisheshu Dusachyuta. Dvishat
From Bhagavatam.
Sucha, yes. Ye wala. So this one, and then very nice
In the
point.
first paragraph also it is given that he has received this initiation from spiritual master and is engaged in the loving service of Lord.
Yes, 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 this point. And okay, this point also, Prabhuji, the Madhyamadhikari should not be considered to be situated midway in the devotional service. Extra in extra, we can say, not main point one. Okay. One definition, one that point. Then Madhyamadhikari is a devotee who worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love, makes friends with Lord's devotees, and is merciful to the ignorant and avoids those who are envious by nature. This point. I have one question. Can I ask?
Yeah.
Prabhuji,
Yes.
of course, I knew this verse earlier also, but now it's like I'm just trying to understand. I like to serve devotees like I didn't discriminate like is Madhyam, Ganishta or Uttam. But now here it is specifically mentioned that Uttam Adhikari, we should render service. One should associate and faithfully serve. Service is here. So I like to serve the devotees. I like to serve peers, and most of the time I get service of my I'm the level of M.
Yeah, I see one point by Prabhupada here that he's
Yes, please,
telling
please.
that in this movement, in this movement, we don't discriminate. We like everyone is invited and they sit together in honor prasad. So everyone is invited to join this movement, sit with us and take prasad and hear about Krishna. So I think means what I feel that we should not discriminate at our level. Definitely.
Oh, that's why it came to my mind.
I think Mataji, everyone has Ananda Mataji, like from room 3 also devotees have joined back. Only room 1 devotees are still there.
Room 3 में कोई है ही नहीं. Sorry, when there's nobody in room 3.
I think they joined back. They joined
Mataji,
back.
we are here. We are here,
back,
Mataji. It was
we
me
see-
and Gaurav Prabhu.
Yeah, and there is one. Aradha Gadadhar is here.
But he wasn't there in any of the room, Aradhya.
Yeah, he just came in. Just walking.
मैंने अभी अभी ज्वाइन किया, जस्ट ज्वाइन नाउ ओनली.
Yeah. See, that's all right. I think it's only room one who did anything substantial. So
We'll have
I
lot
think
of
devotees from room 3 have already done their discussion.
that
Gaurav Prabhu was like this, Mataji, quick, done.
So where is he?
Points covered. इसलिए
let's see what we
all
have.
points.
Bimla Prasad Prabhu, your camera
Yeah.
is not working.
No, it's not working. It's like, so this is the problem. Maybe I'll have to then restart my computer to see what's wrong with this. So I'm just, it's okay. I can at least hear and people can hear me. Anyways, there's nothing special about my face. I think
Prabhu,
they are
any
done.
another point?
Room number 1 devotees are done, then probably
No,
everyone,
Ananda, I believe they are done.
everyone should then come back.
I'll then just close out.
Yeah,
the
then
room.
close the you can close the room and that's it.
Yes.
Seems there are many points for Kanishta Adhikari.
Mataji, everyone is back.
All right. So, who would want to go on, with the group one's finding? Kanishta Adhikari, whoever was in room number 1.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I was in the room number 1. I have noted 4 points for Kanishta Adhikari. Should I read it? Number 1. Kanishta Adhikari is neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation from the spiritual master and is trying to chant the holy name of Krishna. Number 2, he is situated on the lowest platform of devotional service and is interested only in worshipping the deity in the temple. Number 3, he does not know how to behave toward devotees or people in general. Number 4, his faith is soft and liable. I have noted these 4 points.
Okay. Basically, yeah, Kanishta Adhikari is on the lowest level, like the first one. And like what and all you have shared, that's wonderful, thank you. And his faith is quite soft, and as one point that was mentioned by you was like he doesn't know how to deal with devotees. Yes. So here are some points also from.
Mataji, can I say something? Hare Krishna.
Yes.
So we had that unit 1 session. It was from Dheer Damodar Das Prabhuji. And I asked a question that, because I live in the UK, so I was asking him that, women is not allowed in India to do Mangal Aartis, but in UK they are allowed. So why is it that in India they are not allowed? So he didn't answer me in the class, but then I had an offline session with him. So he called me offline. And you know what he said? But I just want to share. And he said that, so he agreed with me that yes, in UK or in the US, women, they are allowed to do Mangal Aartis, and they are the ones who lead Aartis. But but in India, it's not allowed because they are neophytes, he said. Now, he was telling me, he said there should not be any restriction on women to do Mangal Aartis at the temple. So it is neo. So he said it's like they are neophytes. But do you have any views on that? While I just heard and absorbed it.
Okay. I was in US. I was a pujari, so I was doing everything, and now I'm in Mayapur. I'm not doing what I was doing in America as a pujari. So it's right to some extent what Maharaj has expressed. But also there are two ways. You see, the Indian culture is quite strong and intact also in that sense, you can say. Like for Mayapur and Vrindavan, Prabhupada has explicitly said that women not on the altar. So they do service here, but that's behind the curtains, not in front. And the Indian culture is like they don't appreciate that. I mean, in Indian culture, like even in like Prabhupada initiated this Brahmin initiation, but previously it was not heard of or done or anything of that sort. And Prabhupada didn't see anybody as his body. That's like he was a highest class Uttam Adhikari, you can say, Siddha. So not all of us are on that level to see Krishna in everyone's heart and see Krishna everywhere. So keeping the mind, those thoughts of the cultural, how you say, in the society, because like in Mayapur and Vrindavan, it's Vrindavan is quite connected with other many Goswami temples. So any such sort of thing then we do, then there are other sects also religion. So they kind of how you say, might oppose or look upon us down, things like that. So that's, but they are there in the kitchen, but probably not doing the artis or blowing the conch and that sort. But slowly I see things are changing a bit, not in the DD service, but I see here women leading the kirtan quite has I have seen quite, it has come up in the past 10 years in India, which wasn't like very much uh, prominent 10 or 12 years back. So yeah, I think slowly devotees are understanding, and the more they understand, the more they'll be broad-minded, I would say. Um, but yeah, I mean, yeah, in the West it's quite easy. And also another thing in the West is there, as you are staying over there, so there are less devotees. You
Yeah.
have to find devotees. There are more deities than than devotees. But in India, there is like bunch of brahmacharis in each temple, so they need to do something, you know. So yeah, and the congregation is also like quite a lot in number in that sense. So to put up everybody on the altar, and that would also cause, not cause, that requires a good management skill, I would say.
Yeah.
So there are many cultural, practical reasons. Things are the way they are in India. Things are the way they are in in the West. Yeah, so that's what I have to say. I don't know if that satisfies, or you agree. I'm not sure.
No, it's good. Thank you, Mataji. It's just that things are changing. So there will be one day when women might do Mangal Aartis in India.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Mataji, I also have one question in this regard, if you don't mind.
May I know who is that?
It's Radhe Gadadhar Das, Mataji.
Okay, yes.
I'm audible. My voice is coming fine.
Yes, 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 yes.
Mataji, I mean, you remember that Prabhupada saying about Yamuna Mataji. Had she not been a woman, I would have made her the GBC because she was very exceptional in management. Yamuna Mataji. And so why did Prabhupada say like this, that had she been a woman, not been a woman, I would have made her a GBC? I mean,
Yeah, I
because
mean,
this conversation has come up, so I thought take advantage of this thing.
so he said, had she
A woman.
been not
Not a woman.
not a woman, then he would have put her in GBC. Okay.
Yeah, I would have made her GBC.
I'm not that elevated to understand Prabhupada's heart yet. But what I can say is, whether he put her as a GBC or not, but every day in each of our ISKCON temple, when the Darshan Arti opens, it's her record that's been played. GBC meeting may not be happening every day, but this is something happening every single day in each of the ISKCON centers, wherever we are, whether it's ISKCON center or temple. For Darshan Arti, it's her bhajan record that's been played. So I think that's and he didn't really he didn't really bother who is coming and then what they'll think the woman is singing and things like that. He appreciated that, and he encouraged her, and that's the example we all see till today.
Okay, thank you, Badari. And one more question in same line, that regarding the female spiritual masters, if you could tell that, I mean, has it come into existence or it's still the discussion is only going on?
I'm not very sure about it. I think if we open up this topic, then it's just going to divert from what we are supposed to be discussing here today. Yeah, maybe some other time. Okay, so let me share the screen. Oh, I did share already.
Mataji, screen is already here.
Yeah, it's coming. Okay, here if we see translation, it says Krishneti yasya giri tam manasa driyeta. Giri in the words of speech, manasa by the mind, adriyeta one must honor. And in the purport, Prabhupada goes on saying, he talks about George Harrison. So a Kanishta Adhikari is to be honored in mind. That's the gist of this shloka, the the shloka is broken in like 3 parts. That's the first part. And here Prabhupada is saying how we honor. One of our friends, a famous English musician, has become attracted to chanting the holy names of Krishna. We offer respects to him without reservation, for we are actually seeing that this gentleman is advancing gradually in Krishna consciousness. Such a person should always be shown respect. This is from the purport. Which page? Let me see. It's I think 49 or something, or 55. Sorry. Okay, so you can see to that. And Prabhat goes on saying that even in his records, he has several times mentioned the holy name of Krishna. At his home, he offers respects to pictures of Krishna and also to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. In all regards, he has a very high estimation for Krishna's name and Krishna's activities. So this devotee, though he didn't take formally initiation and stuff like that, but he in his records he appreciated the Lord and he was singing his name also, and Prabhupada really appreciated that and he liked. So the conclusion is that anyone who is trying to advance in Krishna consciousness by regularly chanting the holy name should always be respected by Vaishnavas. So like we have heard that Vaishnava respects even an ant. So this is more than that. He's come into Krishna consciousness and he is chanting the name of the Lord. So we should reciprocate him by honoring, respects, and mind. Because Mahaprabhu, when he was asked, who's a devotee, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Prabhu kahe yanra mukhe shuni, ek bar Krishna naam se puja shreshta sabakar. If one hears a person say even once the word Krishna, that person should be accepted as the best man out of the common group. So at least he's doing that, So that Prabhupada is saying we should accept him as a best man. So actually, when Mahaprabhu was asked this question in, I think, Kulinagram first time, then he said even when one say once Krishna's name, you should think him as a devotee. Then they asked him for the second time. Then Mahaprabhu said, yeah, one who chants the name of the Lord incessantly, he has to be considered as a devotee. And then again this question was asked to him. And then Mahaprabhu said that looking at someone, and if you feel inspired to chant the holy name, then that one is a devotee. So the same question he answered like 3 times in 3 different ways, and that's, we can see the same name uttered, same holy name of the Lord Krishna uttered by 3 different categories of devotees. What results it actually bestows, like even if said once, then he is to be considered a devotee, and one who chants incessantly, that is also to be considered as a devotee, and whom you looking at, you feel inspired to chant the holy name, that one is also a devotee. So the last one is the Uttamadhikari, the highest of all. So looking at that, because he is so Krishna conscious, just looking at that person, we just feel that we also should chant the holy name. Okay, so the second group.
Mataji, I have a question here. Mataji, in the first paragraph of purport, it is mentioned that the Kanishta Adhikari is a neophyte who has received the Harinam initiation. What about it? I mean, if someone has not received any Harinam initiation, would he come in any of the categories? I mean, it is mentioned here that Kanishta is also has taken initiation, so.
Yes. But it's still on the lowest platform, and it says also that he's still attached to, many material propensities. So that attachment is still there, like strong, quite stronger. So though he has taken initiation and everything, but still it's in the neophyte stage. Yeah.
And Mataji, if someone has not taken Harinam initiation and is chanting the holy names of Krishna, he also, in which category will he come?
He is like, in Kanishta also there are, you can say, categories, or, so that will be even, at the beginning stages of that. Still the faith is there, but it's very, very soft, pliable. It's still not very strong. So at least that person has taken, I mean, we can see, there are many, we can see initiated devotees, and level of commitment varies. So that's how we can see the discrimination among them, that they are on this level. So they may be initiated, yes, and some, even after initiation, they actually struggle to follow the four regulative principles. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Then there's something more also. I hope we didn't leave. Okay, so now we move on to Madhyamadikari. Whoever did that, if they can come and share their findings.
Hare Krishna Mataji, me and Tarun Prabhuji, I will speak little, then Tarun Prabhu will complete it. Two, three things, Mataji. Madhyamadikari has received spiritual initiation from the spiritual master and has been fully engaged by him in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. The main thing, in the Kanishta level, the person is chanting the holy name, but one who has taken initiation, that should be considered Madhyamadikari. And after initiation, what will he do? He will simply engage in rendering loving devotional service to the Lord. And then the definition of Madhyamadikari comes in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 46. Ishwara tad adhineshu balisheshu dvisatsu cha prema maitri kripopeksha yat karoti sa madhyamaha. Who is a Madhyamadikari? The Madhyamadikari is a devotee who worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love. First thing. Second thing is he makes friends with the Lord devotees. Second. Third, and the third, it's his quality is Madhyamadikari is merciful to the ignorant, and he avoids those who are envious by nature. Further, we will read about the Uttamadikari. Uttamadikari, he sees everyone as a soul. He doesn't discriminate. But at that level of Madhyamadikari avoids those who are envious by nature. So this is this about Madhyamadikari. 2 point more. One point I would like to say that when one is actually initiated by a bona fide spiritual master, and when he seriously engaged in the service of the Lord, okay, not this. Yes, this one. शास्त्र युक्ति नहीं जाने धृत श्रद्धावान मध्यम अधिकारी से महाभाग्यवान. A person who conclusive knowledge of the Shastras is not very strong. But in the case of Madhyamadikari is what, when we talk about the Kanishadikari, he chants the holy name, he is attached to the deities, he does the worship, but in the level of Madhyamadikari, he has the knowledge of Shastra, but he is not very, he has staunch faith also, but he is not able to make other understand the things. This discriminate between the Kanishta Adhikari and Madhyamadikari and the Uttamadikari. Uttamadikari is one that who knows the Shastra and who can
make argument with others. But in the case of Madhyam Adhikari, he knows the Shastras, he has faith, but he is not able to do other. So just like but Madhyam Adhikari has developed firm faith in chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, and who is also under it in the execution of his prescribed devotional service should be considered as a Madhyam Adhikari. This Madhyam Adhikari is very fortunate. It comes under, this statement comes under Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila 22.67. And now Tarun Prabhu will add more points.
So, Mataji, what I read here that a Kanishta Adhikari should try to lift himself to the level of Madhyam Adhikari. Prabhupada is writing in the purport, and as Mataji was quoting Chaitanya Charitamrita, that he might not have a complete knowledge of the scriptures. He might not be able to convince others. What I've read other places also, that he might not be able to convince others about spirituality, but he himself has staunch faith in the holy name, and he has received the spiritual initiation. Like Kanishta Adhikari also has received the initiation, and Madhyam Adhikari also receives the initiation. But the difference between both of them is that he very sincerely renders a service to the Lord. That is the difference. Like Kanishta Adhikari just sees like Lord, and he doesn't know the difference between devotees and non-devotees. But a Madhyam Adhikari knows the difference between a non-devotee and devotee, and he's seriously trying to get himself engaged in the devotional service. And Prabhupada writes that a Madhyam Adhikari is a Shraddhavan, a staunchly faithful person, and he is actually a candidate for further advancement in devotional service. So this is what other things I am able to find in the purport.
Thank you, Pro. In such a short time, you were able to jot down so many points while doing this group work. Okay. So as the verse goes, and both the devotees mentioned here, Dikshashti chet pranitabhischa bhajatam isham. Diksha, that means initiation. Pranitibhi, by obeisances. Bhajantam, engaged in devotional service. Isham, unto the Lord. One should offer humble obeisances to the devotee who has undergone spiritual initiation, that is Diksha, and is engaged in worshipping the deity. So the Kanishta, we are offering obeisances with mind, and for the Madhyam, we are offering obeisances to them. And he has gone through spiritual initiation and is engaged in worshipping the deity. And like they mentioned, Ishware tad adineshu balisheshu divishashtu cha prema maitri kripa upeksha yah karoti samadhyama. So he worships the Supreme Personality of Godhead as the highest object of love. And at the same time, he makes friends with the Lord's devotees. But what was the difference between Kanishta? That he doesn't know how to deal with devotees. Yes, so that's the difference here. Madhyama Adhikari makes friends with the Lord's devotee, and he's merciful to the ignorant and avoids those who are envious by nature. So he has a discrimination power, that they avoid those who are envious by nature. And like this is prema maitri kripa upeksha, worships the Lord, friendship with devotees, merciful to the ignorant, and avoids the envious. So these are like the four main qualities that this verse is speaking about who is a Madhyama Adhikari. Now, the distinction between the Madhyama and Kanishta Adhikari. A person who is very faithfully engaged in the worship, the deity in the temple, but who does not know how to behave towards devotees or people in general is called a Prakrita Bhakta or Kanishta Adhikari. So here you see this. Natad Bhakteshu Chanyeshu does not know how to behave towards devotee or people in general. So that code of conduct is not known to the Kanishta Adhikari. Yeah. Okay. So this is where we are at, so these 4 points that we discussed about Madhyama, that's what the verse is actually um, talking about. Okay.
Mataji, can I ask one question?
Yes.
Mataji, it's coming like envious. So can you please explain that what type of envious, of which people they Madhyama Nigani and do does envy, like little bit about enviousness here, because for this, and one more thing, we know that all the anarthas can be engaged in the service of the Lord except enviousness, envy. And we envy to anybody, it means the root cause is we envy Krishna. So it's coming in my mind, if you can please help, Mataji.
See, it's something like, if some person has something and then we also want, there is a difference between, like, often people mis interpret, I would say, uh, between being envious and they say, oh no, I am very inspired. Okay. So you also, I mean, somebody also wants the same what the other devotee has. So there is a difference between being inspired and being envious. We may be inspired by that devotee, and then we will do those things according to our situation and circumstance. But being envious is, just whatever they have exactly the same we also want to have. And like, not being happy about what the other person has and not appreciating that. So in the long run, would that could harm in our cultivation of bhakti. So that's why those kind of propensities, one avoids the envious people. Yeah. Devotees. Because see, we are in this material world because of envy only, right? We envied Krishna, so we came in here. Now we are envying with other devotees also. Why he has that, why she has that, I should also have that kind of thing. So that's not healthy for our spiritual life. We can be inspired by someone for whatever that devotee has a talent in that respective area, whatever that is, and then we, by inspired means what? We appreciate that, and we would also want to do some in that way, but according to our circumstance, because it's subjective. What the other devotee has or have, we may not have that. So those kind of propensities, because already it's so many negative energies around us in the material world, there's always suffering and this and that. So this just adds too much in our path of bhakti. So that's why Madhyama Adhikari is intelligent enough to avoid the envious. Okay.
And
So
Mataji, sorry.
yes, go ahead.
And Mataji, one more thing that it's my personal experience also, and I have heard also in the lectures that any anartha, if I'm able to find somebody, that means that anartha I have. If I'm able to see envy in another, that means the first thing is that envy I have, because a person who doesn't see wrong in others, it means that person himself or herself doesn't know that thing about that anartha or that thing. So it means that Madhyamadikani is also envious, right? According to this point. So
Well,
he votes.
all on the path of this purification. So rather than quoting that the Madhyam Adhikari is envious, because the context which you are saying, that may not fit in here, because in Shastra we often say that we might see things are contradictory. That doesn't mean that we interpret it according to our understanding, right? So here we are talking about the Madhyam Adhikari, who, how is he in conduct with other devotees? Okay, he avoids the envious devotees. And what you have been talking about is something for our own personal, how you say, inner growth in our spirituality. So they are two, I mean, they are connected, but not in this context. We cannot connect like that. So yes, I mean, like, we all have something problems here. That's why we are here in this material world, right? Otherwise, in one shot, everybody could be Uttam Adhikari and just go back to Godhead. How nice and wonderful it have been if it was to be like that. I wish, but we are all working on it, on our anarthas, and eventually we'll get there. And also, Madhyamadhikari has, to some extent, has passed the anartha nivritti stage, right?
Yes. Thank you, Mataji.
So
Thank you so much.
that comes quite in the beginning, the sadhu sangha bhajana kriya anartha nivritti, and Madhyamadhikari is quite later, ruchi asakti. Okay.
Mataji, I had one question.
Mhm.
Shall we judge ourselves in which category are we falling? Like, we are judging others, but before that, shall we judge ourselves?
Yes, I would just place myself in the what is the preliminary stages only. I wouldn't go higher. So I think in that way I feel myself to be safest.
Because I once attended a workshop by His Holiness Bhakti Bhagat Maharaj, and he told that we are not achievers, but we are receivers. That we are the receivers of mercy.
Yeah.
So our goal is not to become a Uttamadhikari or Madhyamadhikari or to go to Ruchi Bhav or Bhajan Kriya. We are here to get the mercy. And Prabhupada also told, like, you don't have any qualification, I made you qualified.
Just perform the devotional service sincerely, and Krishna will make the way for us. And the devotees, like as you said, the devotees association, um, our bhakti can improve. Actually, that's the only way. We get to know about Krishna from the devotees, from the association of devotees, from sadhu sangha.
May I add something?
Yes.
There are certain crucial points over here.
Mm-hmm.
If you see the first paragraph of this verse 5 purport and the last paragraph of purport number 4, and if somebody volunteers to read it out, they can immediately connect those two paragraphs as if the purport is a continuation from 4 to 5.
Yeah.
Hides a few things. So that is certainly in a different trajectory. Because I almost know those sentences by heart. So then devotees will do well to read the last sentence where Prabhupada finishes fourth verse, and where Prabhupada picks up in the fifth verse, first sentence of the first paragraph, and you see they are connected.
I can only read in the next verse from there, yes?
Yeah,
In the next verse, it's the last
this is
line.
the last sentence of the fourth paragraph,
Fourth.
purport to the fourth verse.
In the
And
next
therefore-
verse, Srila Rupa Goswami informs us what kind of Vaishnava should be selected as a friend and how Vaishnavas should be served.
Unless and until there is a difference between selecting friends and selecting devotees for service. So which means, like, as you said, like placing ourselves even in the third category, we should be very much aware whom to be friends with and whom to serve. And now, like, coming back to the fifth verse, paragraph 1, Prabhupada specifically uses the term discriminate. Careful discrimination. Prabhupada writes,
Yeah.
I remember that.
In order to intelligently apply the sixfold loving reciprocations
Yeah.
mentioned in the previous verse, one must select proper persons with careful discrimination.
Which means that you don't randomly apply the 6 principles just to any Tom, Dick, and Harry. It doesn't work like that. So there is no shortcut than to, like, advance and develop the discriminative intelligence, and hence there are volumes and volumes upon volumes of Prabhupada's statements from his books, letters, everything, all parts of his statements. The Prabhupada does say that the Madhyam Adhikari must discriminate, must develop the ability to judge. Otherwise, he doesn't know whom to preach and whom not to preach. But if the Madhyam Adhikari, like, foolishly tries to preach somebody who's on the Uttama level, that's a Vaishnava Aparadha. Actually, you cannot, that's what the Vaishnava Aparadha is. And if he doesn't know whom to make friends with, and he have Kanishta Adhikaris as friends, he doesn't go anywhere. So, like, therefore, this is an intermediate category where there is no shortcut, there's no hiding behind the principle. So there are two things. It's like when you stand with the principle and you hide behind one. The principle is of humility is to stand with it, not hide behind it. And, like, the hide your incompetences under the garb of humility. Oh, I don't know, and I'm a good, nice bhakta, so then I am on the lowest stage of life. And how just imagine, how does the guru see you like that? Okay, this guy is around for 20 years, is still a Kanishta. Why did I make him a disciple in the first place? So, I mean, I may feel myself as a Kanishta, but doesn't mean I remain a Kanishta as a different thing. I may see myself as something, but that doesn't mean I remain like that. So on another platform, bhakti means to know who is who and what is what. So that's why this verse comes in very handy, and the next verse. That's why both the verses are part of this. It's like it's a pair. This verse tells you how to discriminate, and the other verse tells you how to serve. That's the next one.
See, if discrimination was not important, why would Rupa Goswami would have written this verse?
Yeah, that's the point. It's the question of appropriate and inappropriate discrimination. There is discrimination.
I mean, you understand that by the word discrimination, it's not where, like as Rupa was mentioning, it's not.
The discrimination has got connotations attached to it. That doesn't mean that, like, you take the baby with the bathwater outside, throw everything else. So It's not our understanding of the term discrimination. It may be very discriminatory in the first place.
Okay, so Uttama Adhikari.
Yes, now grow up.
Who was there? I don't know if somebody was there in any of the room who discussed.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was me and Gaurav Prabhu. Gaurav Prabhu, would you want to go?
I think you can start and then I can, because we discussed the first points were discussed by you. So you can
Oh,
speak up.
Lila, Gaurav. Oh, okay. Is someone okay? Okay. Okay, fine. Go ahead.
So, Mataji, in Uttam Adhikari, the basic points that we read from Prabhupada's purport was that Uttam Adhikari is basically the highest devotee who is very advanced in devotional service. And Prabhupada specifically writes, in the beginning of the purport that he is not interested in blaspheming others. And he's a perfect Vaishnava or a Mahabhagavat. And the association of such a Mahabhagavat is most desirable. And seriously engaged in service of the Lord, strictly following the regulative principles and chanting prescribed rounds on japa beads. Always thinking of expanding the Krishna conscious movement. And there's this little instance that comes where Prabhupada writes that he's prepared to accept any living condition for the sake of Krishna as long as it's written on, I don't know the page number right now, but it's written in the purport. And I think Gaurav Prabhu can take it forward from there. I'll just tell you, Mataji, the page number where it's written.
Okay, sure.
Gaurav Prabhu, you can take it forward.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So, what's the name? As Mataji was explaining, like about the Uttamadhikari, different qualities, like chanting prescribed number of rounds. In that respect, Prabhupada also mentions like the system given by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is 64 rounds. But due to preaching in Western world, Prabhupada has reduced it to 16 round. And but with that 16 round also, like we have to be very regular and we need to be very strict. And Prabhupada is telling that we are already fallen because we are chanting the lower than the count that is prescribed by his spiritual master. But if we try to serve the Supreme Lord without duplicity, we can expect to be delivered by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then also about Uttamadhikari, few points that are very important. Like Uttamadhikari person realizes that he's a eternal servitor of Krishna. Like he loses anything which is any topic or any activity which is not connected in the service of the Lord. Second, he always thinks how to spread this message and the holy name throughout the world. And then Prabhupada speaks about how we should deal with the Uttamadhikaris. Then he speaks about that we must apply the 6 principles, Dadati Pratighanati, in the association of an Uttamadhikari. Next, we should accept Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Then with respect to spiritual master, also in the ahead, Prabhupada also mentioning few things. Like one must accept Uttamadhikari only as a spiritual master, not anyone else. Like a spiritual master must be Uttamadhikari. In case, because a neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava who is in an intermediate platform, if one takes if one accepts them as a spiritual master, or if he accepts the disciples, then what will happen, like we will not be able to reach the ultimate goal of life because his guidance will not be sufficient. That's why it is very much important to be careful to accept only Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. Then also Prabhupada mentions about dealing with him, that we should like offer everything that we have to the spiritual master. Like we should offer our everything, especially for brahmacharis. Prabhupada is mentioning like We should, brahmachari should beg alms from others and offer them to the spiritual master. Last point about the dealing with a Uttamadhikari. Prabhupada is mentioning about giving a caution or concern, like a red flag, or like how we should not be, what we should not do. Like there, he's telling that the activities of a Mahabhagavat or Uttamadhikari should never be imitated. We should, like, because by imitations, our spiritual, there will be no progress in our spiritual life. Also, like, actually, we will become more degraded. So that is one thing also. Yeah. And then a one-liner, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is telling what is the who is Uttamadhikari. Uttamadhikari can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. That is a very crisp definition of Uttamadhikari, like by the ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. That we can see, like at least in life of Prabhupada, we can see, like he made so many souls, even fallen souls. I don't know should I use the word, but he made souls all over the world into Vaishnavas, devotees of Lord.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Wonderful, Prabhu. It's the same thing like I was mentioning when Mahaprabhu was asked that question that who's a devotee, then he answers the same question 3 times in 3 different ways, and the third one where he's saying that the one who inspires you to chant the holy name, just seeing at that person, so that is also a devotee. So that's the Uttamadhikari which Bhaktivinoda Thakur is talking with Prabhupada is mentioning about him in the purport, that the ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavisms. So, yeah. Okay, thank you. So let's have a review of what we covered. This is the verse from the text, which is like the third part of the text 5. Where it's the translation as it goes, one should associate with and faithfully serve that pure devotee whose advanced and undeviated devotional service and whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others, like Priya Satyabhama Mataji was mentioning. Also, he's not interested in blaspheming. So here it says, Nindadi Shunya Hridam Ipsita Sangha Laptya. Okay. Then Bhajana Vignam Ananyam, advanced and undeviated devotional service. Anya Nindadi Shunya Hridam, whose heart is completely devoid of the propensity to criticize others. Ipsita Sangha Labdhya, one should associate with and faithfully serve. So here we can see the first one, we have to offer obeisance. With mind, we have to offer respects. The second one, we offer obeisances. And for the Uttama, we actually serve those devotees. So service is for Uttama Adhikari. When a person realizes himself to be an eternal servitor of Krishna, he loses interest in everything but Krishna's service. Always thinking of Krishna, devising means by which to spread the holy name of Krishna, he understands that his only business is in spreading the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Like Mataji has mentioned this point, that his whole point is just thinking about how to make the world Krishna conscious. Such a person is to be recognized as an Uttamadhikari, and his association should be immediately accepted. Indeed, the advanced Uttamadhikari Vaishnava devotee should be accepted as a spiritual master. And this Bhaktivinoda Thakur quote also comes that Bhaktivinoda Thakur has given some practical hints to the effect that an Uttamadhikari Vaishnava can be recognized by his ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism. And here also Prabhupada goes on saying in the purport that one should not become a spiritual master unless he has attained the platform of Uttamadhikari. A neophyte Vaishnava or a Vaishnava situated on the intermediate platform can also accept disciples, but such disciples must be on the same platform, and it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under his insufficient guidance. Therefore, a disciple should be careful to accept an Uttamadhikari only as a spiritual master. I mean, it's a very basic principle you see, like even if when we go to receive any spiritual, any material education also, we look for a teacher who is highly qualified, right? So then why? So then our understanding, because when we can receive more from that person. If somebody is only high school pass, then and if 10th grade or secondary grade student goes to take lessons from him, so his understanding and clarity will be much less than what he will be learning from postgraduate, right? So it's a simple equation. The same thing holds here. So I mean, they can. I mean, one can make spiritual master one who is neophyte from an neophyte or a madhyamadikari also. But here, Prabhupada, as he's saying, it should be understood that they cannot advance very well toward the ultimate goal of life under, because the guidance is insufficient. It's not enough to bring that up, right? So okay. So that's what Prabhupada is saying. The disciples should be very careful to accept Uttamadhikari as a spiritual master. It's there in the page 58. So Uttamadhikari has realized eternal servitor of Krishna, only interest in Krishna service, always thinking of Krishna, devising means to spread holy name, only business spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. Ability to convert many fallen souls to Vaishnavism, as we can see in Srila Prabhupada's case. Okay,
Hare Krishna. Mataji, I have a question here.
yes.
About the service that we just mentioned, like we should serve only Uttamadhikari, right? In a way, like service should be like with a Uttamadhikari, we should be served, or only like it is said like the 6 principles of the service, like the Dati Pratiganati, should be applied to only Uttamadhikari, right? I think like the point is already discussed before also, but still I want to reiterate. Like, can we do a little? So those who are not in a Uttamadhikari platform, but they are very close to us, they are very close friends. So in that case, also like we devotee friends, like we use these principles like Dadati Pratighanati and so on. So how is it like is it right or is it wrong? Like, even in the case of sometimes not to offend anyone about criticizing, but we are taking guidance from some persons, some devotees in our spiritual life. Not necessarily they are on a Uttamadhikari platform, because by principles we can, okay, like in a way it is possible, like they are not in a Uttamadhikari platform, they may be in a Madhyamadhikari platform. Then also, like if we want to develop our good relationship with them, then should we not apply this principle of Rupa Goswami, the Dati Pratighanati?
See, you can do the Dadati Pratigranati principle through Madhyama also, like among your peers or friends. But what happens, like Bhunte Bhojate, when you're sitting and honoring prasadam with your friends, and it's not, I'm not saying it's wrong or something, but it's not as fruitful as you would do with an Uttamadhikari. So when you serve them, you offer them a garland or something. So when they'll give you back the Maha, so that actually brings up. It's towards our progressive stages of Krishna consciousness. So it is actually making us move towards the positive side. But when we are doing with the other devotees who are peers and all, most of the time while eating, I'm not saying all the time, but usually it's some just Prajalpa or some other talks which is going on. Hardly we discuss about Krishna and stuff like that. So those things we have to be very very careful. See, sadhu sangha means what? Like we are serving. It means service actually. It's not just hanging around and eating ice cream and things like that. That's not sadhu sangha. um, mm, that's fine. We may dine in Govindas or wherever, that's okay. But sadhu sangha means we go to a sadhu who is a devotee, like of this uttama adhikari category, and we go and serve him. So when we serve him, that's when our you know understanding of spiritual life will be much clearer, will we have much clarity, because we won't do all this prajalpa when we go out there, and when you are going to call them for prasad or you are feeding them. So the sole purpose is to serve them and take their remnants and advance as they have advanced in their spiritual life. So
Mataji, just one thing to add. Sorry to cut you, but we might never get an opportunity to serve our spiritual master or that kind of devotees. So, like who are our immediate seniors, we might get an opportunity to invite them at home or serve in temple. But serving spiritual master or uttam adhikaris, it's very difficult that we are there. We get an opportunity to serve them or interact with them. So.
yeah, so do the best you can in that sense, and your seniors, you can serve them. So that's fine. I'm just saying, like whomever we will be serving, that's the proportionate amount of our spiritual upliftment will be. That's all. It's a basic equation. That's all. Yeah. I mean, I know it's hard. But we need to find, we can always search out for that one devotee who is Uttamadhikari, and maybe pray to the Lord to send us one of that kind so we can serve him. Um, yeah, it's just very a basic thing that whomever we serve, that kind of fortunate spiritual credit we will be receiving accordingly. So it's no harm. We have to start somewhere, you see. Just because we don't have that person around, then that doesn't help it either. So we keep the show going, and then we'll see how it moves ahead. Yeah.
Uh,
Okay, okay, Mataji, but guys, so like I understand the point that you are in a way, in a conclusion or in one liners, we see, say like by following these principles of reciprocation, we get the spiritual qualities of those persons whom we are serving in one manner. Can we take it like that?
Yeah, something of that. Okay, Bimla Prasad Prabhu has raised his hand. Yes, what do you want?
well, yeah, I totally agree, but you're saying that's exactly the way it works. What does the verse, as far as my understanding is, pretty sure it's like not offline of the track. The idea is when we set a standard, that means like they said this is the minimum. Just like you cannot set a standard for the maximum. You can set a standard for the minimum. That's called standard. So when this verse is talking about serving of the Uttam Adhikaris, it doesn't say that that is the maximum we should be doing. That says that at least we should, at least in your entire lifetime, you should be able to find somebody in this lifetime to serve some Uttam Adhikaris. That the verse doesn't cut out everybody else out of the equation, that next time you see your god brothers, you just like turn your face around, these are not Uttamadhikaris, come on, these are my same league. So no service to them. That's not the idea. At the same time, as Mataji was saying, I cannot agree more on that. The kind of service people you are serving, that kind of quality or that kind of proportionate advancement, one can expect. So both things are there. It's not like from tomorrow, and it's not like I'm not saying I'm not shouting out savior. I'm actually telling as a matter of fact. This idea of how do you understand who's an Uttamadhikari? It's only after you keep on serving the devotees of all categories, knowing devotees of all categories, that you get to know who's an Uttamadhikari, because an Uttamadhikari is never gonna, hanging a plaque on his neck. And you see, this is an Uttamadhikari. How do you recognize an Uttamadhikari? You recognize an Uttamadhikari, all of us have recognized an Uttamadhikari by serving that. It's only after a point of time, gradually we start getting a glimpse that, oh, he's not one of us. He's way above us. So, like, as Mataji already said, that you start somewhere. You start at the same time. You don't stop until the day you get to that kind of devotee, and you get that kind of devotee. As Tarun Prabhu also added a point that was very considerably very strong, that might not get a person around us who is of the caliber of Uttamadhikari, but the point before that is, how do we get to know that he is an Uttamadhikari? So that understanding is a matter of realization. That realization comes when we start serving the devotees. And gradually we figure out who is of what caliber. And accordingly we discriminate, and accordingly we direct our services as well. So, so that's because, as Mataji said, that the point is sadhusanga. So, and the point is Vaishnava Seva. So then when we talk about Vaishnava Seva, it's a general statement which includes everybody, but we narrow it down. So the maximum effect is going to come with the that kind of devotee from that kind of stage, that kind of level and plane. So you get that kind of realization, basically. So that's the purpose of service, is to get higher and higher realizations, which bring us closer and closer to Krishna. So that's what I understand it to be, because in any case, this whole discussion about Uttamadhikari, this is also a very, I would say, they've got many layers to it. They've got many nuances to it. It's like all, like when Prabhupada is giving this pattern, like 2 or 3 paragraphs, it's all in one. It's like the whole thing. So for our sake of understanding, we need to go deeper, and then it's just like, peeling the layers of onions. Figure this out. This is an Uttamadhikari from this level. This is another Uttamadhikari from that level. So one Prabhupada says that Uttamadhikari is the Mahabhagavad, the topmost order, which means like he's a Siddha devotee. So then, like, it is the Uttamadhikari of the lower grade and Uttamadhikari of the higher grade. All Uttamadhikaris are not one. As Mataji already pointed that out during the Madhyamadhikari discussion, that a devotee on the level of Ruchi and Asakti, Nishtha and Ruchi, that's a Madhyamadhikari. So, but then Asakti onwards, everybody is an Uttamadhikari. So then, like, the devotee in the system Asakti is one level of Uttamadhikari, and the devotee certainly on the level of Prema is another level of Uttamadhikari. So when Prabhupada is giving the thought, he's giving like any kind of Uttamadhikari you can lay your hands on, you should consider it for yourself very, very lucky. Very, very lucky. So that's the point. And the bottom line, which Mataji ended everything, that's the end of this thing. You want an Uttamadhikari in your life, you go and ask Krishna. You want Guru in your life, you go and ask Krishna. You want material happiness in your life, you go and ask Krishna. You want Krishna in your life, you go and ask Krishna. It starts and ends with Krishna. You want it, you not that kind of devotee, you go and ask Krishna. That's all. Thank you very much, Mataji. That was the cherry on top of the cream, which you said, like, you want a devotee of Uttamadhikari, go and ask Krishna. Don't haggle it around amongst yourselves.
That's the easy, I would say, what's the word, access each one of us has, praying to Krishna, and he just sees our intent, how we want to advance and how we want to serve, and he will make the circumstance and the situations accordingly for us to be able to perform in the way we want it to be. So yeah, and I'm sure all of us would meet that one kind of Uttamadhikari at least once in this lifetime, for sure. It's just the time is separating, I would say. Until then, keep working on it. All right, so then we'll then end here, and though text 6 we can take tomorrow, because it's big on its own. So I would suggest that we all have a reading of the text 6, and then we'll discuss that tomorrow. Yeah, like this, tomorrow we'll finish the 6th text, and then on Monday, I don't think so we'll need 3 days. Let's see how it goes. We'll cover the verses from 7 to 11, the 5 verses in 3 days. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you.
Yes,
very much.
Mataji.
Thank you all very much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.